show you the back of, but like, I don't know, I don't have a way, but anyway, I get to show it off. I wear these shirts as pajamas now because I always ordered them to be like one size above because they used to shrink. They used to shrink. Not to the point where I could have justified getting one size above, but also because whenever I was on the floor, I was like, I don't know why, but if I was wearing something tight, I was having a sensory day. It was so weird how, like, if I was wearing a tight shirt or like something that was a little bit more form-fitting, not a chance. So I've got my collection of old Starbucks shirts as pajama shirts because I wash them so often that they're quite soft now. So anyway, if you see the logo, that's why. Support the boycott, by the way, but you know, that's beside the point, and that's beside the point. So, what is this video going to be about? Well, this video is going to be me embracing hand movements. And, oh my goodness, my stomach. Hand movements, hand movements, hand movements, hand movements, hand movements, hand movements, hand movements. Now, I know I've done one or two videos with the scratch, 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 and rake, 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 raking, trigger the invisible scratch, 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 and invisible raking, raking, raking trigger. Well, I just recently got a comment from Jenica Flandro, Jenica Flandro, 4697, Jenica Flandro, Jenica Flandro, Jenica, 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 Jenica Flandro, Jenica Flandro. I got a comment from Jenica Flandro on a video that I just put out pretty recently. Oh goodness. Or maybe, actually it might have been on the trigger word community post. But anyway, my memory is like not where it needs to be tonight, but Jenica Flandro has told me that my hand movements are actually pretty relaxing, and I've heard this in comments previous as well. So, what am I gonna do? I am going to take Jenica's suggestion, and rather than putting these as the viewer suggested trigger words, I'm gonna do them as their own video. Sorry, I'm just like, I'm in a moment of I had quite a late shower today, just because I was doing like a lot of cleaning and a lot of dusting all day. Oh, by the way, depending on when this goes up, Happy New Year. I know I've been filming and I'm like, I've lost track of like what is going out when, but anyway, I just took a shower, and it was like, I'm the kind of person that in the last like minute or two of a shower, I will like turn it like way hot. I guess that's, yeah, like counterclockwise is the way that I turn it. So I turn it like way hot, and comments to me saying that I have, like, during the ASMR filming process, I make myself very tired. Anyway, this is all beside the point. The point is that I'm going to do the scratch, 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 scratch. Trigger again. I'm going to do rake, 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 rake. I'm gonna do that. Then I'm going to add in swipe, 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 and swish, 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 and I'm also going to do of my favorites in terms of like trigger words that go like with some specific hand movements is pat, 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 as well as dab, 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 dab. I'm gonna do all of these. I'm going to do all of these with their hand movements. I'm probably gonna put the scratching stuff at the end. Scratching stuff at the end. The scratch, 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 scratching stuff at the end, as well as the raking. Rake, 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 raking at the end as well. So let's get into it because I've been rambling for like way too long. Let's do swish, 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 swipe, 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 swipe. Still haven't got the nails. Swipe, 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 and swish, 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 wish, 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 swish, 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 and swipe, 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 swiper, no, swiping, 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 swipe, 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 swipe. Let me see, let me see here, let me see here, let me see here. It looks like you've got something in your eye. Let me just take a little cloth and just do some swiping. Swipe, 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 swipe to get it out. Swipe, 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 swipe. Good. Good. I think we've almost got it. Swipe, 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 swipe. Yeah, let me just swish your hair out of the way. Swish your hair out of the way. Swish your hair out of the way. Swish, 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 swish. Swish, 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 swish. Swish, 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 swish. Swish, swish, swish your hair out of the way. And let me just swipe to get that thing out of your eye. Swipe to get that thing out of your eye. Swipe, 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 swipe. Swipe, 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 swipe. Swipe, 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 swipe. Swipe, 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 swipe. Swipe, 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 swipe. Swipe, 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 swipe. Swipe, 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 swipe. Swipe, 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 swipe. Swipe, 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 swipe. Swipe, 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 swipe. There we go. There we go. I think I got it. I think I got it. Let me just swipe, 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 swipe it off your cheeks. There we go. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Awesome. Now, I know that there was something in your eye, so let me just dab, 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 dab away the tear, dab away the tear that's falling down your cheek. Dab, 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 dab. positivity, like you are doing amazing. You're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. You are exactly as you need to be. Pat, 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 pat. Pat. You are exactly as you need to be. Pat, pat, pat. Sometimes we feel like the way we are is not enough. Pat, 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 pat. I'm here to tell you that how you are, is exactly how you need to be, is exactly how you need to be. Pat, 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 pat. It is beautiful that you are the way you are. It is beautiful that you are the way you are. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 classic. Scratch, 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 scratch. Scratch, 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 scratch. Popularized, of course, by the lovely, 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 lovely Peace and Variety ASMR, Peace and Variety ASMR, Peace and Variety ASMR, and of course done by many like Rage ASMR, Mads ASMR, ASMR Slay, and so many more. Scratch, 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 scratch. And I'm making myself itchy now. Scratch, 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 scratchy, scratchy, scratch, 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 scratch. I need to adjust my camera. There we go. Scratch, scratch. And now, I just want to thank you. I 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 want to thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for watching this video, for being here, for enjoying it with me. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for watching. It is always wonderful to film these. Again, if it's the new year, if it's 2024 when I put this up, Happy New Year. If not, that's perfectly alright. All I want you to do is have a really great night,